Right.
I am Dean. That over there is the Madman Los. And guess what? We got somebody who came over here. A special guest came into motherfucking Black of the Berry land, y'all. Listen, her origins, her heritage, what makes her up comes from the DR. But she was born in New York.
Okay.
Listen, was born in New York, made her
You're
way down to Florida. Made her way down to Florida, the states of guns and butter. That's what made her. That's what raised her. And then after that, she decided to take all what guns and butter. Yeah, you dumb motherfuckers. Yeah, Florida's all about the guns and the butter. Come on, son. Stop
I
it.
didn't know that. I'm not a Floridian.
Would you agree that you know y'all love guns and y'all butter?
Yes.
There we go. And listen, she used all her experiences that raised her, that you know, that kind of make her up, where she'll come from. She's gonna give you motherfuckers 2 books. You hear me? Your first book is gonna be Alone at the 2, not 1, but 2, and they're both gonna be available on Amazon. And the link is gonna be below. Listen, the first book is gonna come out, is gonna be Alone at the Round Table. That's the first one. But the second one is gonna be Voila. Her name is Nat, y'all. Los, cue that applause.
Matt, welcome to the show. What up? What up? What's good, kid? What's good?
Thank you guys for having me. This is gonna be such a fun episode. I'm scared, but I'm a little excited also. So
yeah, it's gonna be a dope one for realzy. So
It's
we
gonna
just
be
heard the piece King. And that I felt like it was perfect for the time at hand and time at being right now. As a writer, from writer to writer, are you able to still kind of write off of what's going on, or are you like kind of like so like still hurt kind of that you can't be able to like create?
Well, I mean, this particular subject at hand, in the past 6 years, I've possibly written maybe 6 different pieces regarding this exact situation. So the fact that I was able to write 2 in the last week alone kind of alarms me in a way, because 1, that means I'm aware of what's going on, but 2, it's also to the point where I'm worried that my friends and, you know, people that I've worked with closely for the last 7 years are the ones being majorly affected by it, and the ones that are at these protests. So it's a very scary time to actually be fueled to write, because I'm feeling literally everything. And it's a lot for me to handle myself, so I can only imagine how it makes everyone else feel as well.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. But I guess the thing that what you can do is just keep advocating. You know what I mean? Just keep being there for your friends and for your guys, and keep speaking on our behalf, because that shit's dope. You know what I mean? You know, because it's like we all I don't know about we all, but I believe that like Black and Spanish people are like, they like this. We like belong together. And, like, we look out for each other. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, it hurts me to see those like I don't know, there's probably I don't know what kind of gang they were, but I know they're Hispanic in Chicago, and they were
the Latin Kings.
Latin Kings. Okay, yes, okay, right. So I didn't want to assume they're Mexican. That's why. So but yeah, they were beating up on the brothers out there. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's fucked up to see that kind of shit, because it's like, yo, you're not to sound cheesy, but your fight is our fight. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know. So it's like, it's the same shit. You know, we're fighting for Black and brown people.
Exactly.
You know, like, yeah, like the Black people bear the burden in terms of the police brutality, but not really, not that far. You know what I mean? It's not. You know.
Right, no,
it's pretty similar, and incarceration rates is definitely pretty similar, you know. So that when they profile us, they profile Hispanics as well, you know.
Right.
So it's like, I don't understand why there's a rift, you know. And I was writing a new piece earlier before the episode, and I was kind of like saying something like, you know, we're all fighting for justice, but are we on the same team?
Exactly. Like, I feel like as a white Dominican, like, people are like, what are you even talking about? I'm like, at the end of the day, I am Dominican as fuck. Like, my skin color does not mean shit to me. My roots mean more to me than what my skin color looks like.
Absolutely.
I know where I come from, and again, like I said earlier, like, since I've been writing and performing for the last 7 years, like I've met so many amazing rappers and poets and singers that look just like both of you do, and I've adopted them into my family. Like my family knows them. Like we all love them, and we all feel for them right now. You know, like my mom asks, "Hey, how are your friends feeling right now? How are they doing?" I make sure that one or two of them at least call and text me after these protests are done, to make sure that they got home safe. You know, and it's just
powerful.
trying time. And I, as a person who used to curate shows and like admin shows out here in Florida, I feel like it's my responsibility to make sure that all of my friends who are performing with me at these shows are doing all right. You know, I feel like at a time like this, like, all creators have to have that sense of like responsibility and accountability for our friends of color who are out there on the front lines of these protests and risking their lives, because at the end of the day, honestly, like, you don't know what's going to happen after their protests are done. You know what I mean?
If they're going to be done.
Exactly. So these protests are, go ahead.
Oh, no. You finish your thought.
You know, at the end of the day, it's like these protests are going to keep happening and we could lose anybody. You know, and that's it's a sad way to think, but at the same time, it's like you have to be realistic. You know.
Yeah, we're definitely these protests where we're living in, like, a crazy time. And listen, when it comes to the protests, the riots, the marches, this is what I'm gonna say, because I was actually having a conversation earlier today about this. I don't believe in destruction without a cause. What I mean by that is we need to have an infrastructure in place that we can replace what we're destroying. You see what I mean? But and another thing too is I also don't agree with destroying our own shit. It's kind of like, all right, so Derek killed George, so let's go destroy Derek's neighborhood. That's my mindset. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of how I more so think about it when it comes to that. Just because, we don't need to be destroying our own shit, people, especially when y'all down there in Atlanta, when Atlanta is like, one of the most popping places when it comes for Black culture, Black business, Black life.
Probably the blackest city in the U.S.
You can't go down there and destroy that. You see what I'm saying? And then on top of that too is, like, when you see Black owned businesses, you can't be going out there to destroy that, because it's not conducive to the movement, nor can you destroy hospitals, homeless shelters, and schools. You feel me? You don't do that.
But simple guidelines.
There's guidelines to this shit, and there's levels to this shit. So it's kind of like, that's my thought when it comes to the actual physical violence. But I am going to say that. I said this, but I'm going to say this. Y'all do what y'all got to do. I'm not going to sit here and talk shit about y'all. Y'all do what y'all got to do. You do whatever you feel is necessary. I'm just saying how I look at it and what my personal approach is to it. I think we should take a more of an economic standpoint, and that's something different. But I'm not going to tell y'all how to feel, because you know what? At the end of the day, somebody's got to feel our pain. And what I mean by that is that we continuously have said time and time again, no one cares about us. No one values our life.
No one hears us.
And then on top of that, you have Amy Cooper, who weaponized her whiteness. And for y'all who don't know who Amy Cooper was, y'all go Google, look her up. Quick summary: she was in Central Park walking a dog without a leash. She encountered a Black man who is not a threat at all. Y'all can look him up. He's Chris Cooper. My man does not look like a threat. He could be, but he doesn't look like a threat. So you should not treat him like one. Like, and what I mean the threat is, he could probably be like a black belt, but besides that, like, I'm not worried about nothing else. So he's in the park. He tells her to stop, put a dog on a leash. She gets mad. He starts recording her. She threatens to call the cops and say that, hey, listen, I'm going to say that you're fucking, an African-American man is threatening me. They go back and forth. The cops come, but both of them leave, right? So you have her weaponizing her whiteness. Then you have George Floyd killed, but then before that, you had Ahmaud Arbery that was shot dead by two fucking citizens who didn't even call law enforcement, right? So we had all that.
One guy was a retired cop, though.
Yeah.
I don't give a... Okay, that's cool. So then he should know better than anybody. Call the fucking police, because you're not the police no more. You see what I'm saying? So now we've had all of that. Now, right now, we're in the middle of protesting in all 50 states, all over the world. Some places are getting fucked up. Some places are not getting fucked up. We have all that. Then you have people online saying, you motherfuckers should go peacefully protest. Okay, we peacefully protest. Merrick, New York, Long Island, a perfect example. They're peacefully protesting, and you got motherfuckers out there, you got the townspeople of Merrick who are white out there telling people, all white, telling Black people and Spanish people, because I don't like to use that whole thing, people of color thing. That's just me. I'm going to say black and Spanish people. That's what I'm going to say. And if anybody else is in there, I'll add them in that mix, but I'm not going to say people of color. I think that shit is, I'm not with it. So you have black and Spanish people, and you got some white people out there all protesting for Black Lives Matter, saying that our life fucking matters. You got motherfuckers telling us to go home. Nobody cares. You had somebody holding a noose. All of this is happening. You're telling us to peacefully protest. We're peacefully protesting, and you're going to do that. And then behind that, you have Drew Brees saying he doesn't want to see any protest. He doesn't want to see anybody taking a knee during the anthem. So the question is, we're damned if we do, damned if we don't. What options are you really giving people? And then another thing too is I'm sick and tired of is, why is the onus on us to be the bigger men and women when you know the system is not built for us and the system is out to legitimately kill us? Like, this is a fact. Los and I at any point in time can die. Yeah, and this is a fact for some shit that we didn't do. Right place, wrong time. Wrong place, wrong time, whatever the fuck you want to call it, you see what I'm saying? Like, neither one of us are fucking criminals, but under the right circumstances, with the right individuals, it's over. We both look like one. Los is like 6 foot, about 215, 220s, 220. Scary, like you know what I'm saying? Like, he's got the beard and everything. So some of these motherfuckers out there gonna look at him and start getting a really fucked up thought. Myself. You know what I'm saying?
Speaks for itself.
I ain't gotta say nothing, but but this is the system that we have to. That this is the shit that we're dealing with. So it's like, damned if we do, damned if we don't. So at this point,
I have a question for you.
What does it matter?
I have a question for you. And that too, of course. How do you feel about the people who are like protesting but they're like dancing? Like, I've seen many. Some people are like it's kind of like they're dancing as they're marching or protesting, and then I've seen one where it's like a pit and they're literally dancing around. It did look like some African Afrobeat music, so I was like, okay, or at least they're doing it that way. But
they conjuring the ancestors. They conjuring. Everybody has their role, baby. Everybody's not going to be out there breaking shit and going crazy. Some people are going to financially support it. Some people are going to strategize. Some people are going to be actually in the shit, bugging the fuck out. Some people are going to be there wanting to do the peaceful aspect of it. Everybody has their role in it. So I'm not, you know, at the end of the day, like I said, I'm not down for senseless destruction.
Mm-hmm. Right.
There needs to be a method to the madness. But then at the end of the day, can we really sit here and say that there was no method to the madness when you finally got all of them have now been charged? Now the real problem. Well, actually, no. You know what? Fuck that. I'm lying. We have not got what we need. Even if these motherfuckers even if they do get fucking
not even remotely
no, hell no. We need the whole system fucking changed.
You know what?
Excuse me. I apologize for that Black Awakening. My bad. I was tripping.
Yeah,
I was tripping.
You was tripping. But it's kind of, you know what it is. It's kind of like when you let's say you a cop, right? And you find a dude who's like selling a little bit of or whatever. You take him down, but ultimately you want the boss, right? You want to take the whole organization down. Right. So yeah, we was fighting for Black Lives Matter and to end racism. That's the boss. But we had to take down police brutality because that's in the way right now. You know what I mean? And that's what was that?
That's just the first step of taking down racism as a whole.
Right. Yeah, and it's just like that is the first step, and then we got to worry about all the institutions, and then we gotta, meanwhile we're building our own kind of like institutions and building our own kind of networks.
Which we fucking need to take a note from the fucking Hispanic fucking goddamn race. Listen, these motherfuckers that came over to America and have turned the fuck up. Don't get me wrong, we were lit too, pre-segregation. Pre-integration, because we were, civil rights, we had our own everything. Right. But the way our Spanish brothers and sisters have come over here and taken over the motherfucking world, this shit is. We gotta look at the game plan. Hold on, give me 1 second, Los. Nat, can you speak some truth to that? Can you talk to us and kind of let us know what is that within the Hispanic
community.
community that when they came over here, they're just like, we're about to like start businesses, we're about to do this, we're about to do that. And then can you speak to that true communal sense that also y'all have?
Well, I mean, on both sides of my family, my family came to New York in like the 60s and 70s, and my grandfather from my dad's side
amazing
built a grocery store that was up for like 20 years.
Amazing.
That was everyone's meat spot. That was everyone's grocery spot for years. And
how did he start it?
I'm not even sure, to be honest with you. Like, I haven't gotten that deep in the conversation with my father and my uncle about it. But I just know that like he was a very like family first kind of oriented man, where like all of his brothers were working at the store with him, his nephews, his sons, his grandson. Like, he had the entire family. Everyone that worked at the store was family, no matter what.
As it should be.
Exactly. And then that was everyone's spot to go to. And then like down the street from that, we had my other uncle's store, which was like the mini market version of my grandfather's store. And on the other side of Queens, we had my aunt, who had her own supermarket for years until it got burned down in 2001, I believe. But that was everyone on that side of Queens: language spot, food spot, breakfast spot, grocery store for the week spot. That was. And like people that know me now are like, wait a minute, aren't you related to so and so from this store? And I'm like, yeah, that was our spot for years, And then we also had two computer stores, one on Delancey Street in Manhattan, and one in Queens as well. So we've always been like that kind of family where we're always doing some kind of business, but together. It was always as a family, never anyone else, never other people. It was always family and like direct family friends as well. So
that's love.
So those stores themselves were always like that spot for everyone in the community, and people knew like, oh, that's so and so's daughter or so and so's sister or so and so's niece or whatever. Like that, it was that kind of love, and I miss that so much. Like my aunt's store was in a Black neighborhood, so I've always been around that kind of love. For me, and I grew up listening.
Hollering at you, yo, nerd.
I mean, thank God.
Black shirt.
Thank God it was never like. Thank God that like, we left when I was a kid out of that area. But when I go back for the summer, or when I used to go back every single summer, it was that kind of thing. And I was like, yo, do you not know like leave that level of respect, because like I grew up in this neighborhood, so chill out. You know what I mean? But.
Right.
But I mean, it was always love. It always has been, and it always will be for me. That's just how I feel about that. But
so how does all of that? So with all of that, right? How do we get at Alone at the Round Table? So what? Because right now, right? So because you were speaking about your Dominican roots and everything like that, it just immediately made me think of Blood on the Leaves.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? And then if you don't mind, excuse me. And if you don't mind, can I? Here's what I would like to do. Right. What I want to do is I want to read Blood on the Leaves.
Go ahead.
Right? I'm gonna read Blood on the Leaves. After I read Blood on the Leaves, we're gonna go to commercial break. People, we're gonna have our sponsors come in here. They're gonna do what they got to do. After that, when we come back, we're gonna have Natalie break down what helped to create Blood on the Leaves. And then after that, we're going to go deep dive into it Alone at the Round Table. All right, y'all? So are you ready for this, Nat?
The floor is yours, my brother. Go ahead. This is a Blackberry first.
Listen, it's not my stuff. I'm just reading somebody else's.
Still, go ahead, brother.
You know what, though? Hold on, though. I feel like this wouldn't be right if I did not at least, light the bizong before I did this.
You only got 2:30. Just do it.
Ah, fuck. Never mind. Here we go. Whenever people ask me where I'm from, I proudly say I'm Dominican. Then they all look at me. Like I'm wearing some Medusa-inspired headpiece. Why is it so hard to believe that my family roots grow from Dominican trees, where the food is amazing and the culture is eye-opening, right? My skin is too pale, my eyes are almost green, and my hair isn't as nappy as these other girls they're used to seeing. My point is never proven until I open my mouth to speak and Dominican lingo escapes from my lips. D'Amelio, I don't know if I said that right. I probably didn't, but it's okay. That's when the mouth wide open looks turns into a nod of approval, or even on the dance floor when my hips swing to the sounds of Anthony Santos, Louis Varga, and of course, El Torito.
Oh.
History has taught us that if you're Dominican, your skin has to be the color of the cafe con leche. You drink in the morning and your eyes as brown as the tree trunks that serenaded the streets of Campo your mother grew up in. Next time, why are you fucking this shit up, Los?
Bro, I'm not doing nothing.
Why are you laughing? What, am I fucking it up right now?
I'm not doing anything.
Am I fucking it up right now?
Yeah, I'm not doing a word. I'm not doing nothing.
Why are you laughing?
We gotta do it again now because we got less than a minute left now.
Oh, but damn, was I fucking up or something? Why was it? What was so funny?
What you say? You said con leche.
Whatever. I don't know, nigga. Y'all know what it is. I'm trying. You see, at least I'm trying. Am I not trying?
Look at this.
Am I not trying? You know what though?
No,
you know what?
You try.
At least
let's know what we do when we come back. Do it again, and we get it. You get it right now. Con leche. But anyway.
Con leche. Man, I'm not saying I can't.
It's dímelo.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what?
I think I said that right.
You know what?
Right.
Dean swung and missed. We tried. So next time we come, God damn it.
We're gonna come back. 2 seconds. All right. Cool runnings.
Whenever people ask where I'm from, I proudly say I'm Dominican. Then they all look at me like I'm wearing some Medusa-inspired headpiece. Why is it so hard to believe that my family roots grow from Dominican trees? Where the food is amazing and the culture is eye-opening, right? My skin is too pale, my eyes are almost green, and my hair isn't as nappy as these other girls they're used to seeing. My point is never proven until I open my mouth to speak. Dominican lingo escapes from my lips. De malo. That's when the mouth wide open looks turns into nods of approval. Or even on the dance floor when my hips swing to the sounds of Anthony Santos, Louis Vargas, and of course, El Torito. History has taught us that if you're Dominican, your skin has to be the color of cafe con leche. You drink in the morning, and your eyes as brown as the tree trunks that serenaded the streets of Campo your mother grew up in. Next time someone remarks the color of my skin, I'll proudly boast that yes, I'm in fact Dominican. I'll tell them I'm white because God drew me that way and he wanted people to think of the beach whenever they looked at me. Skin as pale as the sand that burns your feet and eyes the color of the sun as it swims over the water.
Ooh, yo, who wrote that? That was fire.
Some poet I know. He's like,
right?
He's Dean. Nice.
I feel as if I have a future in like
in voiceover work.
Yes, but if I just like really like if I can memorize it, then I can like say it and I can work with the artist directly. Like I would like. Are your books on audio?
But the day I decide to do it, I'm coming to you first.
I don't know. I would like to hear you doing that though.
Are you kidding me?
Or at least like a woman, or at least like a woman's voice. Like he is good.
So good. Are you
He
kidding?
did, but it's like here, like if he's writing like a piece by you, so it's like my paid scale. I was like,
funnier.
That's true. That does. You could talk about my skin.
And I think the whole time I was reading it too, and then even when I knew I picked it, I was like, this is gonna be kind of low key funny, just because one, I'm not Dominican, and two, I'm black as shit. So it's like when I'm reading it, it's kind of gonna be like.
But you know what? It still resonates because.
Well, actually, not for nothing. I'm sorry. Continue.
I mean, Dominicans are black. Yes,
I was about to say that. Yeah, I was gonna say really.
But I was gonna say like it still resonates because it's still an issue with the skin. It's just on the other end of the spectrum. You know what I mean? So like you can dead ass take what Nat's saying, and she can. If she didn't put a color to it, and maybe she compared it to different things, then you wouldn't know what her pigment was. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it still speaks to people of different different hues because they can relate. It's still all a race appearance problem, So beautiful piece, beautiful piece. One of many. Um, So yeah, so let's I want to see if.
Well, hold on. We have to
Oh, you
hear.
have to break it down, right.
You know what I'm saying? I gotta hear from Nat. Like, obviously from the poem, it's really self-explanatory to the people. But I wanna get to. Can you give me 2 specific instances that when you hear this poem, when you were writing this poem, that you were drawing from, or were you just drawing from? Yeah. I want 2 specific instances.
Okay, well, there was one time, this was like 2011. I was like maybe 20 years old. Yeah, I was working at Target. I'm a cashier, and I'm bagging this lady's groceries for her. I'm checking her out, and she tells her husband in Spanish, "Yo, that girl's so skinny." And I'm checking him out. I'm leaving him alone. I'm checking him out, and when they're done, I'm done, bagging their groceries. I said, "Que tengas buenas noches. Have a good night," in Spanish. She looked at me. She's like, "Wait." She's like, "Wait, huh?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I understood everything you just said." And she was like, "Careful." And she was
That's
like,
beautiful.
she was like, oh. I said, "Yeah, mm-hmm."
You got him looking stupid now. They got the stuck on stupid face. They're like,
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Her and her husband were like, oh. I was like, "Yeah, you should be very careful with how you speak about people in front of them because you never know."
Yeah.
Oh my
And
God.
as far as there being other instances, I mean, I don't know. I feel like everyone that I've ever been around kind of like knew that I was a loud Dominican or Hispanic at that. But like when I first started performing, people were like, "Yo, who is this white girl?" I said, "Oh, I'm far from that. Super far from just being a white girl." But I mean, we'll leave it at that for y'all because y'all don't understand.
But you know what's crazy though to me? I guess maybe just because like the neighborhood I grew up in. So the neighborhood I grew up in was nothing but Black and Spanish folk. So when I look at you, I do not like when I look at you, I'm like, she's not white. like there's nothing
She
about
looks
you.
cultured. That's what it is. Sometimes they have like you could tell like they have like not to say have ethnic features, but you could kind of see like you're
She
not
got ethnic fucking features. She's fucking Dominican, of course. Yes.
But for someone who doesn't know me, who doesn't know that,
True.
know
They wouldn't know. Yeah, absolutely.
right.
Yeah, true. It's like, oh my
So
God, you know what? She's like one of the new hipsters. That's what it is. It's so wonderful. Oh my God. Let's go fuck yourselves.
You know what's funny is a similar story to Nat about like somebody speaking Spanish to them. I used to live in Queens, and I used to go to the boys and I used to go to the Boys and Girls Club. So I used to take like the train there every day, and and every day like these two old ladies would get in front, and I don't know if I would see them every day, but I would see them often, and they would like just be talking Spanish, right? To me about I don't know if it's about me and my sister, but they would be talking Spanish. And I was little, so I thought they were talking about me. So I was like, I'm gonna learn Spanish so that never happens again. And now I'm like now I'll be picking shit up. And they be like, watch your mouth.
exactly.
Know what the fuck you just said? Watch your mouth. You know what I mean? So that was a huge motivator for me to learn Spanish. Because I like every time I think about it, I resort back to that one moment, that fire. I was mad when I was like 6 years old because I thought they were talking shit. I was like, watch.
Well, I do have another follow-up question though for you, Nat. So there's another part in that poem I want to ask you a question about. So when you talk about the dancing, you talk about the swaying of your hips. What is the moment? What made you conjure that? Like, did you draw that from a real life experience, or was that just more so that just kind of flowed with
that's
your
that bachata.
Oh yeah.
Bachata. Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in a family who partied every weekend at my house in New York, so I saw a lot of that, and I've been listening to bachata, merengue, and salsa and típico for as long as I can remember. So I felt like for people to be able to grasp that true Dominican identity in me and understand that I'm really am Dominican, I felt like I had to include that, and like those three names were important to add to that as well.
See, and I guess when I had read it, I had thought, like, to me, I had thought that you had went to like a party that wasn't like your family associated with it. You went with someone else, and then people were talking shit, and you just happened to go to dance floor, and everybody was like, "Oh, she's this shit, she's this shit." That's why I had equated it to be honest with you, in my head. That's kind of like the story that I had conjured.
When I wrote that piece, it was 2014, but I had went to a pop-up party for my friend's brand a couple years ago, and I was, I'm jamming to all the hip hop songs that the DJ's playing, and some guy goes to me, for a white girl, you're kind of dope, like all this shit. I'm like, yo, so, like, who are you? So
you should have cussed him out.
Like I'm supposed to have like a certain taste of music because I'm a white girl. Like, what does that even mean? So that does tie into it as well. But like when I go or like to parties or whatever, like I'm hanging out with the family, because my family, they never truly saw like that dancing side of me up until I was like maybe 15 or 16 years old. I was always like kind of like, I'm not gonna dance for her, that's weird. But like they knew like, oh, like, okay, like she's embracing her roots and she knows her shit. So that's kind of where all that came from.
I respect it. I respect it.
That's fine. And the thing is too, I guess sometimes like when you look at, because I used to go to a lot of parties in like high school, and obviously I went to a huge school. There's a whole bunch of Black and Spanish kids there, and I would go to these parties, and they would have like the bachata music and everything. And as a brother, trying to fit in with the Spanish girls and the Spanish culture, because you didn't want one. You had to blend in. Feel me? That's a lot of pressure. You know what I mean? I'm used to catching a dub. You know what I mean? The West Indian music. I'm used to that. So I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? Like sweating in there. I'm like, if I mess up, they're gonna embarrass me. I'm not gonna get the digits. You know what I mean? It was highly embarrassing. So I'm glad now that But the thing is, you know what? Even though after all those times and after all that Hispanic music I listen to, it truly comes out when I'm drunk. Like when I'll be mad shy, I'm like, nah. But when I'm drunk, I'm Papi Negro. I'm like this out here, like this. You know what I mean?
Funny you say that, because one of my exes who's Puerto Rican, he was like, oh, I don't dance unless I'm drunk. Like, I'm like, really? Like, so we can never like go anywhere where I can. All right, gotcha. Message received, bro. We don't have to do that then.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. Sometimes like some Hispanic women are like, they like to dance. They like to go out and dance, have fun. You know what I mean? So it's like you gotta be like a Dancing with the Stars type nigga. You know what I mean? If so I completely understand, but I'm like, I understand both sides, like, damn. And then the nigga feels obligated to go out because he's like, all right, I can't let my shorty like that. She wanna go out and dance, she wanna have a good time. All right.
Right.
You gotta suck it up. And then it's like, then you end up having mad fun. It's like, all right, I guess I'm getting better.
So I don't want to be the hard stop, but
seems like you are.
I am about to radically shift the conversation, because what I want to talk about now.
We're having a good time over here.
Yeah, no, I know, but this is still, listen, we're still talking about Along at the Round Table right now. We haven't even got to Vuela.
Look at Panda in the back.
Where's she at?
She was fucking with something.
Man, she always does. Get out the goddamn closet.
Why are you talking to her like it's a 5-year-old kid?
Yo, this bitch don't listen. Like she don't give a fuck. Yo, yesterday it was almost, motherfucker got scared. I thought she was about to die. Duffy, because we just got done working out. Duffy was leaving. Opened the door. Brown came in. Thank God, Brown went to the right. She went to the left. Bro, it was like the most tense 45 seconds of my life. And for you that you don't know, Brown is a pit bull. And Brown don't like cats. So we have to have Brown and her separate. So like when one's out, the other one's up. But we have Brown in the front for obvious reasons. So when Brown came in, he had skirted and then he went into a room and I was like, yo, son. I'm like, I had scared him. So now he's like nervous because he's like, I shouldn't be in here right now. I know I shouldn't. He's like running, and I'm like, hold on, chill. I'm like, come here, boy, just come over here, come into the bedroom. I'm locked into the bedroom because I know she's not in here. That was the most tense.
It was almost
45
Tom and Jerry shit.
Son, that shit was dangerous. Shout out to Panda. But with all that said, all the good times. Yo, you ain't gotta say that. She cool people.
I said that mad low. I didn't even think you heard it.
What? Wait, when do you even say I didn't hear you?
He said, shout out to Panda. I said, fuck Panda. But I said it mad. I said it so quietly, though. Like, I didn't even. He must have read my lips. That's what it was.
Listen, motherfucker, I ain't playing. But I have to make the shift just because since we're talking about Alone at the Round Table, and I feel as if with Alone at the Round Table, that is the perfect description for it, because when I was reading through it, that was the whole feel. Like, you can just tell that you were just giving us your most raw and authentic self. Like, I feel as if, like, I know you, homie. You know what I'm saying? So, like, with that said, I am still a journalist, and I'm black and nosy. So I want to ask certain questions. So I want to talk. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, go ahead. Have you? Hold on.
Go on. Hold on. I'll be right back. Go ahead. I hear you. I got the headphones in.
Oh Lord.
So I want to talk about Girls Like Me.
Okay.
Because when I read that, when I first read it, and then I reread it again for everybody over here, we drank it. So when I read it and then I reread it again, my first thought was kind of, it wasn't even what guy. I want to know, how many did you deal with that you kind of came to this conclusion? Because there's a line in it that you say, and I kind of was like, oh, god damn. Excuse me, like a stanza. You go, we always become their hype woman, never the girlfriend. We rile up crowds before they make their grand entrance and are forgotten about once their feature comes on stage. When you said that, that told me a shit ton about not only you, but the motherfuckers you've dealt with. And I'm guessing the succession that you dealt with them. So can you just break down what was the clusterfuck that brought, Girls Like Me?
Okay, so I mean,
and not clusterfuck in a negative way, but just like just the fucking
right.
mashup.
I mean,
he's a motherfucking professional. I just want to say that.
It was so many things that were in my head at that moment, thinking back to like, oh, when I dealt with so and so, and then he got with so and so and left me on the side here. But it was a particular situation that I went through in 2016 where I was dealing with some guy and he was also dealing with another girl, and in turn he was like, well, I kind of like her, so I'm gonna go ahead and just be with her, but we could still be cool though. I was like, what? No.
Did you know this, or
I mean, we both figured it out at the same time. That was kind of like how it happened, where I saw things and I was noticing things, and apparently so was she. And then I called him one day. I was like, yo, who is this girl? And he was like, I said, no, you heard me. Who is she? And he was like, oh. It was kind of like she's, I said, yeah, go ahead, speak it, because I can't hear you. It was one of those type of things. Hold on a second. It was one of those type of things where I was like, yo, like, I know that you're not that stupid. I know you know what I'm talking about. Like, come on, just talk to me. You real. It was, but yeah, so that's what kind of brought that on. And then I actually performed this piece in front of him at my birthday show 2 months later. And he was just sitting there like, I was like,
petty. 2020, we still petty.
Forever
petty.
So
what was that?
Ahead,
real quick. Yeah. So that piece right there, that excerpt sounds to me. That sounds like was it not, maybe not all your relationships, but this particular one sounds like it was like one of those situations where like it was like you want a guy, but then you always end up being like the super cool homegirl.
That's exactly my life. So,
Oh.
yeah. Yeah. Because honestly, I get to a point where I'm like, I'd rather have them as a friend in my life because clearly we work better that way than to have to figure that out years later when we're trying to be together and it's just like, yo, like this is not working. I can't ever talk to you again. More so where it got to the point with him and I where it was like, all right, listen, like, this is not working for us clearly, so either we never speak again or we just stay friends. And 4 years later, that's one of my best friends right now. So I'm very thankful.
Can you elaborate on that? Because I'm a bridge burner. So can you elaborate?
I am also, to be honest, on that same token. I myself also
I'll
am
set
a
a blaze
bridge
to the
burner.
whole shit. To the whole shit.
Just, and you know what? Sometimes it's on accident, and then sometimes it's like conscious in the way it's kind of like. And what I mean by bridge burn is kind of like once it's over, I just won't contact you. Like it's done. Like we both have that same like, don't hit me because
That's my answer.
and then or if you hit me, it's gonna be like, yo, at the end of the day, I don't even know what the fuck going on myself, so I can't really help you. So let me figure my shit out. Yeah, but but I've never broke up with somebody because I got like caught cheating or some shit like that. It was always like, this wasn't good for me. This wasn't good for you. This wasn't good for us. But like, let's just go because we both got shit to do.
Well, I mean, it was one of those things where I burn bridges the minute it happens, right? But then like him and I
soften up.
Right. Him and I specifically, we were just because one of his boys is like one of my best friends. So it was like we were gonna have to be together around each other no matter what. You know? So you know, we did the whole cool being friends thing, we'd hang out often, whatever, da da da. And then hold on a second, turn this light on for me. No, you're good. So you know, we tried the whole being friends thing. We'd hang out, we're just one-on-one, and then we tried dating again. And then he apparently, without my knowledge, spent the whole month thinking like this is not a good idea. Like you could have told me that the night of, but I mean, you decided to tell me this when I call you and confront you, which is perfectly fine, I guess. You know, whatever. Do you? But, you know. But again, that was 3 years ago, and to this day, that's one of my best friends and one of the most important. Actually, Los, I sent you his pictures on Instagram the other day from the protest here in Orlando.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
That's how you know that I'm still. You know, that's the homie no matter what. And that piece was written in a moment of anger, yes. But in turn, I was able to write it or relate it and stick it to every single situation or almost every single situation in my life. But his faith and the situation with us was what fueled that.
I have a question.
And that made it relative to women, you know, that read it.
I have a question. Two questions. I'm gonna ask these questions. I need your honest answer because if you're honest, you have to give me the first honest answer because that's gonna depend on my reaction. First, are you in a relationship?
No.
Are you an old boy fucking?
Nope.
Keeping it strong. Keeping that
yes,
shit.
People, I know some of y'all listening are gonna be like, oh my God, Dean, you just asked a sexist question, yada, yada, yada. But this is goddamn Black of the Berry, and we gotta ask the questions. All right? I know some of you motherfuckers were thinking about it, so I had to go ahead and ask it. So I don't want to hear that bullshit, oh, you did that. No. This was a human question. Like, are y'all fucking? Because you know what? If it was a male sitting there, I would have asked him the same shit. So fuck off.
Yeah. And once we said that she was Dominican, she would have got DMs anyway. So I mean, like, shit. What's you know? What's it to, you know, what's fine?
What you gonna do about it? So, but you know what though? I do want to also once again, I'm gonna have to. I want to go somewhere else with it. All right.
Okay.
If you one more time, it's gonna be a problem.
Fuck off.
I'll tell you that right now.
Fuck off. So we have talked about Alone at the Round Table, right? Now let's talk about Vuela. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That wasn't much of a. That was like a little. I'm about to get off on this exit, but we still.
Shut the fuck up. Listen. Don't mess up the groove and a good time
Listen,
now.
sometimes you're good at intros, you're good at outros, but your transition work needs work. Like I said.
You know what? You may be right, but that's okay.
I'm a man. I own up to my mistakes.
I cannot do with y'all. So, okay.
Anywho,
We ain't shit
Voila.
but a hot piece of a biscuit. So now I want to. So when I read it, the first poem that stood out to me the most, because this poem I feel speaks about your spirit, your grit, and your strength and your mindset. And to be honest with you, I did not go through anywhere like, I didn't have anything like this, but I could have I took a situation in my mind and applied it to this, and I kind of just replaced certain things within this poem, and I was able to easily well, actually, I'm lying. I wasn't able to easily put myself in it, but like certain parts of it, like I said, was like, fuck what people say. Like, yeah, like, motherfuckers, yeah. And maybe I interpreted it kind of crazy, but that's just me. But it's flaca.
Ooh.
So, yes. And the reason why I said that, it kind of just was like, I feel it was because, like, it was a word that, you had your mother called you. Your mother, flaca for people, for, the Americans who are listening who don't know Spanish, is skinny for Spanish.
Oh, look at you.
Spanish for skinny, but okay.
Well, yeah, Spanish for skinny. I'm fucking. I've been drinking. I'm smoking some.
It's skinny in Spanish.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But like, bloopity bloop, scoopity doop. So, but yeah. So, what was amazing to me, with this poem was kind of like how you took something that, in some ways were derogative. And some people would have taken it one way, but you didn't even think of it like that. It was kind of like, this is just who I am. Like it just, this poem to me kind of shows how comfortable you are in your own skin.
Just that one, not waves. But no. Was it waves? I think it was waves. Hold on, because that we'll get to waves later. But
yes, no, but but just because I'm a so I went to college. I have a degree in sociology, same way as Los does. So I'm very in tune with the way you raise your kid and the way advertising and the way society can affect them. And even how sometimes the smallest things people don't realize, like, what separates somebody who's strong and somebody from weak is a few sequences and a few bad sentences. So for me, for you to take, because the way you described it to me in this poem, you know what I'm saying? If we're going to break it down, so your mother used to call it, this for you when you were young as a term of endearment. Now your grandmother, she said it, but in a way that, like, you need to gain weight. And then, right?
They always checking on you. Did you eat? Did you eat?
Right.
Did you eat?
But
you
then,
eating, right? Did you eat?
But then it's kind of like when you're reading the poem and then you kind of go through, like, how you're putting on, like, an XL shirt, like, an XL heart shirt, like, struggles and under your clothes grow branches bearing the burdens too heavy for your size to chest to carry. Your narrow hips harbor more food for thought than the thickness men look for in bodies than they only call home temporarily. Like flaca, my grandma's always worried I'd be too skinny forever, and she was right. I wonder if she watches over me patiently waiting for her prayers of heart to gain, her prayers of weight gain to apply themselves. At 6, her words of wisdom sounded like gibberish. Then
consejos.
Consejos. I was gonna say that too, but I didn't want to fuck it up. Consejos. But flaca was something I always picked up on. Mm-hmm. What would be a shot at my confidence was always something that I heard out of love. That's what I mean. Like, you took something that was supposed to be bong bong and then completely flipped it. That's what I mean. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, it speaks to me about your spirit.
Gives me those same vibes too. It's like you
right. You see what I'm saying?
Like, it's like, it's a term of it. I feel like with the interpretation on the way your mom called you too, made it seem like it was a term of endearment. You know, like I feel like I can hear her say it, like Flocka, pass me this, or go get this. You know,
Yeah.
so
It's because that's what she was, and that's what she grew up to be. So she didn't need to
right.
go ahead and thinking that she had to go do something else, and then causes like other like the sociologist in me. It's kind of just like I want to die like that. That's kind of I guess why I connected with the poem so much.
And that just speaks to the generations, though. You know what I mean? Because like I feel like most Spanish grandmas are like that. They love it so much they want to feed you and feed you and feed you. You could be eating and it'll still ask you if you ate. You know what I mean? Like, you know, do you want more? You know what I mean? Like you don't look like you ate enough. So you're just like, yo.
I mean, when I was 6, I didn't know Spanish yet. Like I learned Spanish when I was 6. So at some point in between then, whatever she was telling me, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
but now I'm like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that didn't work. So cool.
So now, do you have you like? I mean, I think because of the you're able to write about it and you're able to talk about how your mom turned into a term of endearment for you. Have you kind of embraced that? Like, this is who I am. Like,
I mean, yeah, you know, I've tried to gain weight, but it doesn't work. So people are like, "Oh, you're so skinny." I'm like, "Okay, well, do you have a solution for me? Because if you don't, then just be quiet. Because this is just who I am. I'm 5'1" and I'm tiny. Like, how much tinier, how much bigger am I supposed to actually be?
right,
Like,
right,
sorry, the fuck.
right.
I had
And
no idea you were 5. What you said? You're 5'1" and what?
Like 100 something pounds. Like I'm.
Jesus
like
Christ!
like a raindrop.
Raindrop, drop top, and a hot dog.
Like a raindrop. Like, oh shit, Nat just fell.
Yeah,
That just fell.
whatever. But yeah, that's just who I've always been. And I'm like, listen, nothing works. This is just who I am.
No, I thought there was okay. Yeah. No. Give her credit, D. Look at you know what I mean? I mean, look at them shit. There was a slight tremor. It was
Okay.
there was a you know, there was
Okay. I'm not mad at it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And last time I checked, you don't gotta be crazy buff to be crazy with a knife. You know what I'm saying? Or you gotta you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I don't got that kind of attitude and passion to kill it.
But you know what? You know what does help being buff with? You know what helps? Shooting a shotgun or a rifle nullifies all that. There we go.
So why'd you choose that name?
Nah, fuck that. We gonna go to waves. That's what we gonna do. That's what she was just talking about. We gonna go right to waves.
Yeah,
You know what? Now, listen, let me tell you something. When I was saying that I feel as if Wave shows your savage side to me.
That one? That
Wave.
one?
Why wouldn't you be a savage?
Savage enough.
Listen, yes, you have a few others that are ridiculous, but when it looks like you're just kind of like
I don't care.
Basically, it's kind of like a game to you. Like the whole thing is a game, and you started it off as a game. That's what I'm saying. So like when I guess savage, I guess savage is the wrong word, but that's kind of the word I think about when I think about people. Whenever someone's single and you're just playing the field, to me, that's just savage life because you're just doing whatever you want. You're just doing whatever it is, and that's what it is to me. Waves is just that. You just kind of like we're gonna play this game. We're gonna see what it is, and then it's gonna be what it's gonna be.
And usually, like how I described that scenario where I'm just sitting at the bar, sipping on my Shirley Temple because I don't drink. You know, I'm sitting at the bar, sipping on my Shirley Temple.
That makes it even worse. You're sniping. You're sniping them.
Some guy just sits there talking to me, and I'm like, all right, he's interested, or looks interested, or is acting interested. I don't know which one of the three it actually is. We're gonna see what's up. So usually, when I have him like already like okay, once I let go, we're gonna find out. So I usually get up off the, and I do this every time. I get up off the stool, I look back, he looks at me, and I'm like, okay. So he's looking for one thing, but he's gonna find the other, because he's not gonna find the one thing he's looking for. When he finds the other,
You sound so Spanish. I don't know how people think that you're white.
He finds the other
Look,
one.
you're looking for one thing.
But you're not gonna find the other. No.
When he notices it, he's either gonna do one of two things. He's gonna turn away and keep sitting there and wait for me to come back, or he's gonna find someone else to sit or stand. Usually it's the latter. So when that happens, I'm like, cool, an empty seat. I can finally put my bag down. Great. I don't care. Now, if you decide to sit there with me, that's on you. I'm gonna try to school you on the local artist that I'm on stage with my friends right now. It's it's a win-win situation for both of us. No matter which one.
I got a question for you.
What's up?
This is why you're a savage.
And speaking to that,
and you're talking about me. Yeah, sure. That one. Yes, this is why. I knew I wasn't crazy. I knew I wasn't crazy. You were trying to test my journalism matter.
And speaking to that, have you ever had a point of not a point of view, but you ever had a chance where you shot the shot instead of the man approaching?
Oh, multiple
times.
Multiple times. But I'm not gonna say that because. But
Wait, no, wait. Why won't you say that?
I mean,
no, we need to publicize this. Let's get this on the record right now. We need women shoot your shot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we do.
I was about to say I wanna actually hear your game plan, but you know what, people? Y'all gonna hear this after this commercial break. Hit it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is a lot of fun. I'm having fun.
Yeah. Probably had no idea what this experience was gonna be like. Yeah, see, listen, we come prepared. We do come prepared.
I love it. I gave y'all 2 weeks to prepare, so y'all really came in thinking this is fun. This is good.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. So less than a minute. I'm gonna end it one more time and then invite y'all again. And we're back from commercial break. Shout out to the sponsors. Dean and his, what are you eating? Twizzlers?
Yep. I'm fucking starving.
Okay, cool. So before the break, we was talking about Nat and her shooting her shot. And
Obi.
Yeah.
Well.
And so we want to know what your game plan was. Sorry, I got. We want to know what your game plan was. Let's say, is everybody get the same game or is it a different game for different people?
I feel like it depends on the environment, but usually what happens is because in Orlando, I'm surrounded by all these artists. We all work together. So if we're at the same venue, and I've seen them before, and I've never talked to them though. Like I'll wait till they're close to me and be like, "Hey, I feel like I've seen you so many times. Like, what's up? Hi, I'm Nat."
You make it nonchalant.
Yeah, like, "Hey, hi, how are you?" Whatever.
Stay out my book.
Or exactly, don't read the book. But if they seem interesting on social media and we've been following each other for a minute, like usually I would send them a flyer to an event that I'd be at or whatever. Like, hey, if you're not doing anything on Thursday or Wednesday, you should come through. Like, here's the flyer, here's the info. Hope to see you there. That almost worked for me. But it took with one person. It took me about 2 years to get that person to text me. I was like, okay.
How did you hold on?
You got endurance.
Yeah. I'm about to say, why did you?
Endurance.
Who the fuck was it?
Yeah,
I'm about to say, who was it that made you say, "Hey, listen, I'm about to do this shit for 2 fucking years"?
It was because we were into the same stuff. We were in the same circles. We knew a bunch of the same people, but I had never seen them in the same room as me. So I was like, I need to meet this person in person because I feel like I could talk to him about a lot. So I wasn't gonna be like, hey, here's my number. Like, no, like I want to talk to you, like really talk to you. But it never worked that way because apparently within me sending him those flyers and checking up on him constantly, like, hey, how are you? You know, how's everything going? I see you drop this and I see you dropping that, whatever. It wasn't until I went to New York for my birthday 2 years ago. He was living in Boston already. He was like, hey, I see that you're up north this weekend. What's up? I was like, well, it's my birthday weekend. So if you want to take a bus up to New York, what's up? It never happened because it snowed. But we ended up talking and texting for like 2 months after that. And it became like a thing, and then it didn't, and then whatever. But usually my game plan is, hey, I've seen you on social media before or around here before. What's up? What do you do? Meanwhile, I know all this already because we do our research sometimes.
Women are homeland security. They already fucking know.
Exactly. So like I know that homie's a producer or a writer or a rapper or a poet or a photographer. If he's a photographer, like said homeboy from previous conversation, I'll follow their work for a while before I say anything. And then I'm like, hey, I'm a photographer myself. If you ever need an extra hand, let me know. I'm down to help. But when we communicate.
Niggas slick, bro. Slick, boy. Slick, boy. I was like, oh,
Like,
all right,
yeah, I got you. Whatever you need.
Yeah, actually, I'm about to go shoot this wedding, I think. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, right.
We knocked that out real fast.
Yeah.
Right.
So tell me about yourself.
Exactly. Like actually, oh my god, I'm gonna get shit for saying this on air, but I don't care. Old boy from previous conversation again. We became cool because about 4 years ago when Boz dropped Too High to Riot, he came to Orlando for a show, and I had bought my ticket already, but my cousin came from Miami that same weekend with her baby, so I was like, damn, family that I'm not gonna get to see for a while, or Boz that I can see whenever he comes into town next. I'm gonna go ahead with family, so you know, whatever. And then our best friend was like, hey, my boy needs a ticket to the Boz concert. I know you aren't going. I know you're trying to sell yours. Can he have it? I said, of course he can. I don't care. Go right ahead. Whatever. Do your thing. He ends up getting into the show because of my ticket. And about 4 months later, I follow him on Twitter, not knowing, forgetting that this was old dude from Boz concert ticket, you know? And I was like, oh shit, wait a minute, that's crazy. 2 years later after that, he was shooting a Boz concert for Interscope in Miami when I was visiting. He's like, hey, I know you're in Miami and you missed Boz 2 years ago. Come with me, I got you. The universe works in many different weird ways.
That's fine.
Everything is everything.
That's fine.
You know, yeah. So that's why, again, you know, him and I, that's my boy. That's the homie forever. So crazy how things work.
Definitely you, D. But that is kind of crazy. So you make it as casual as possible, and that I feel like I relate to that because back in my hunting days of high school, college, and high school, I would like. I didn't have it, even though I was charismatic as whatever, I could never fully like approach a girl and be like, hey, so we buy you a drink, or hey, or pick up line or whatever. I'd have to like, it had to be something dorky or something like I bump into them, or like, you know, I'm at the bar already and then they like say something or something. I was never good at the icebreaker, but like conversation and closing, I was like, all right, yeah, I'm Randy Johnson. But yeah, so I just that kind of resonated with me because I was never good at that. Like I was like, watch you going? What the fuck? And what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh, so yeah, you know.
By the way.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that stuck out to me. What's going on, Dean, over there? What's going on with the equipment over there, man? Whistling?
I don't know what the fuck is going on. I wasn't doing shit. The shit just like me. What the fuck going on?
Some W40.
Yeah,
Probably some shit. Listen, don't
something.
try to come at me.
So
listen, y'all trying to snap? Y'all trying to get y'all ain't trying.
No, I mean, listen. You got the savage one down there. You know what I mean? So
I know, right? We do got the young savage who out here just sniping.
Young savage. Who else? I'm changing my Twitter name. Thanks, guys.
You know what I'm saying? Young savage.
Listen, you got the young savage over there. She out there sniping motherfuckers.
Savage
listen, she out here sniping motherfuckers like Dexter. She got the whole killer.
Never
she
seen,
just
never
like
seen the show.
And it's not on to date, but usually my secret weapon at shows is the red lip. With
I was actually, not for nothing, I could definitely see you with the red lipstick on, that being a problem.
And for years before I became alone at the round table, I was actually Miss Red Lipstick in hip hop. So don't come for me, my guy. Ooh.
So why you ain't put the red lipstick on? Why didn't you show the people what it was? No. We're not saying you hunted, but I'm saying you should have came on here and let the people see what it was. You should listen. You could have been enticing somebody who's gonna be in your DMs in the future.
Listen, she's already enticing people. She's enticing the sapiosexual people, the one that got the brains and the brawn. You know what I mean? So that's what the ones she ain't getting the ones that just want to beat skeet it. You know what I mean? She's getting the ones that say, I like your book, Queen. Let me open your mind. You know what I mean?
You are correct. And I am professional, but I also like to get really high. So sometimes shit just comes out of my mouth that I didn't even really truly break down.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So that's what one of the moments was.
It's just like us. You be saying some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You be saying some bullshit. Just like the rest of us. You be saying some bullshit.
Listen. It is what it is. It's okay, people. I'm here to let you know. Sometimes you just gotta say some bullshit. It's all right. It'll be all right.
It'll be all right. Say some bullshit now and then. You know what I mean? You know.
It's all good.
That's how you know. That's how you know.
Oh man, that is great. That is fucking great.
I think I want another piece. I don't know if I definitely don't want Dean to read it.
I definitely don't. I definitely don't think I should read it. I think the people need to hear it. From
the creator.
Ears. Absolutely, from Natalie's ears. Excuse me, from Natalie's mouth to their ears.
God damn. From Skinny Spanish.
This is why. This is another reason. This is why I don't really drink when we do these damn podcasts. See, this is why.
They get drinking and smoking. I thought you was professional, nigga. I've been drinking and what is this, flight? He said, calm down back there. I'm a professional.
I love this fucking show. We have the greatest podcast in the world. This is the greatest podcast in the world. Go fuck yourselves. This is fucking great.
Yeah, so can we I mean time permits, man. I know you got a busy schedule and all that.
We're so busy. What's today? Wednesday? We ain't got no jokes today. So ain't no busy schedule.
All right. So yeah, I mean, let's hear something.
Okay.
I said, hey, yo. Sorry.
You good? Well, I don't care. Do y'all want a book piece or do y'all want like something that's in my phone, not in a book yet piece?
Yeah. Duh.
We want the no. Hold on.
Y'all want the unpublished one?
We've given the people
exclusives.
We've given people, examples from Alone at the Round Table and voila. We've given them that, but let them know what's coming out in the future. What is brewing? Kind of let them know what you're feeling right now. What are your
Let them know how that 2020 is treating you.
Yeah, because right now we're waiting on the aliens to come. They've already been confirmed a few months ago and nobody gave a fuck. But we're just waiting for them to come.
You seen that meme? It was like
living in a terrible place.
He's like July looking at us like, and it's a whole bunch of aliens. Like, I'm nervous, guys.
Bro, this shit is crazy. Listen, they already said Ebola came back, but then they'll probably stay in Africa. That's what they came back at. But who knows? It came over here before, and then we got Donald Trump as president. So who knows?
You see that?
So I'm actually gonna do Breathless. If you, yeah, I feel like this is important right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Here it goes. Breathless. At a time when I should be celebrating my homie successes, I'm looking at videos on my phone, speechless, of a man being held down, laying breathless. Somebody's son, somebody's friend, somebody's something. And I felt selfish. As I let out a sigh of desperation, my breath escaped me. And for a second, I wished it had flown into George Floyd's lungs.
That's not fair. Hold on, I'm sorry. Hold on. Yeah, I don't. Is that maybe because that's not me? I took my my recording piece out, so I don't know who's skipping like that.
Is it me?
I don't know. I got AirPods in. I got Mac with Mac. I don't know. This whole Apple, Apple gang over. I don't know.
It might have been me.
What can you try? Can you try without your earphones? What?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So hold on. Let me make sure that this is
all right. Bloop, bloop, bloop.
So okay. This is Breathless. At a time when I should be celebrating my homie successes, I'm looking at videos on my phone, speechless, of a man being held down, laying breathless, somebody's son, somebody's friend, somebody's something. And I felt selfish. As I let out a sigh of desperation, my breath escaped me. And for a second, I wished it had flown into George Floyd's lungs, so he wouldn't have to be outraged, so he could have gotten up from the pavement and drove home, instead of being carried away. Just because another officer got carried away, I mean no acted stupidly. Wait, I meant to say racistly killed someone again. Murder in the third degree, under the sun, somebody's son, in the middle of a deadly pandemic. God's children are witnessing yet another epidemic. One no natural disaster could wash away, even if Mother Nature tried. Every time I look at the sun, I feel selfish, knowing that George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor won't get that chance again. Seeing how white supremacists showed up to buildings with guns and went home masked up, untouched. For a second, I bowed my head and closed my eyes, hoping I could show them what I see. Remembering that my roots grew from men and women who look just like them. All the world sees when they look at me is just another gringa, whitewashed by that man and his thugs who they could discover the black man's hands, America. Stripped of their crowns, robbed of their accomplishments, America. When will we open our eyes and face the music we dance to without worry, not listening to the pain behind the story, letting the lyrics leave us breathless, wishing my lungs could fly into George Floyd like a butterfly and give him life again. I feel selfish when a picture takes my breath away, knowing somebody could use one, not letting it escape at the sight of a gun. America, there's a problem in your system. Who do we call on for help? And that was Breathless.
Peace, 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 peace. Yet again, coming with the very hot content, things that are happening right now. Last week, the longest week of my life, the longest week of our lives, and it's great that you've been able to turn that into art. Powerful art at that. So kudos to you, Nat.
Thank you.
Listen, we appreciate you and your time for coming on here and sharing all this with us. And I think, but in light of everything going on, in light of what's happening, I think that is no better way than for us to end off, for y'all to chew on that and think on that, for all the
can we get some inspirational things from the people before we go?
No, there ain't nothing inspirational. Oh. They need to chew on that. Chew on it. Think about it. That's it. Sometimes, listen, radio shows, the beginning of time, they always didn't end on a happier, cheery note. We will laugh when we had a good time the rest of the episode, but this is serious business, y'all. Y'all look at that. Black Awakening, movement forward. Peace, love, and chicken.
Yes.
I am
Thank you, Nat.
Thank you, Nat.
Of course. Don't ever, listen, I've been telling my friends this all week. Don't ever thank me for doing my job as a content creator. And I want to be more than just an ally. I'm a friend. I am a 100% supporter. I hear you. I see you. I feel you. I am here for you. Please do not ever forget that.
Appreciate that, Nat, for real.
Peace, love, and chicken. I am peace, love, and chicken. I am Dean.
Or what, Dean? What's the alternative?
You got to say the alternative. I say the peace, love, and chicken. You say the alternative.
Paz, amor y pollo.
Oh, me gusta, me gusta.
Cue music.
I cannot.
I am Dean. That is the Madman Los. We had a very special guest in the building, Nat. Y'all can check out her body of work. Listen Alone at the Round Table, as well as Vuela. They are available right now on Amazon. Please do not miss out. Grab those pieces of work. They are fucking phenomenal. I'm telling y'all now. Nat, we appreciate you. Thank you for coming to the Berry Gang land. We appreciate that, sister.
Of course, always appreciate y'all.
Adios.
Keep the fight going.